Hello everyone. This is Tapas. I'm extremely excited to come back on day 3. And today we are going to talk about operators and expressions. In the last video, we took a deep down in understanding variables, how they get stored, about the data types, primitive, non-primitives, all these things. Today will be your first step towards logic building. Yes, with operators, with expressions, we start building logic slowly, and then we are going to take it to the conditions, loops, etc. in the upcoming videos. So today's video is very vital. If you are a beginner, definitely. Even if you are an experienced developer, it's good to go through them again. Who knows? You might find something new, something interesting along with me. And of course, you can add to it so that others can learn as well, isn't it? So let's get started with day 3 with operators and expressions. Hey guys, a quick request to all of you will be to subscribe to tapaScript because it gives a lot of motivation to bring a content which is really deep and help you to build your knowledge with practical learning. So if you think that I deserve that, please subscribe to the channel, and you can also join me as a member if you would like to, and all your contribution goes back to the developer communities anyway. So I'll be definitely looking forward to get this from you. So here again, as usual, we are on VS Code, and I have created a HTML file, index.html, and a JavaScript file. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to just put this script src as usual, and then load this index.js file, of course with defer. And then I'm running this locally. So it means if I go to the browser, I'm seeing day 3 because this index.js file is having day 3 over here. So things are working. So first thing first, let's understand what exactly operator mean and what is expression means. This definition is important for you to understand because there are technical jargons sometimes become a little bit difficult for people to understand, but behind those jargons the actual meaning is very simple. So there are three things that you need to understand as a term. The first term is operator, then operands, and third is expression. So in programming, operators are nothing but some symbols that you apply on something to carry out a calculation. So for example, if you want to sum up two things, you will say plus. Plus is an operator. If you want to subtract two number, you will say minus. Minus is another operator. Similarly, for multiplying, you have multiplication. For division, you have this division operator. And for different kind of operations, you have different kind of operators. So to perform an operation, you need a symbol, that is what we call as operator. What is operands? Operands are the symbol should be applied on something. These are the actual value on which your operator works on. So for example, if you have something called an x and y, you want to sum them up, you will say x plus y, right? A basic mathematics. So here the plus is the operator, this is the symbol, and this gets applied on two values, one is x and y. So here we will say x and y are the operands, right? So these are just jargons like operator, operands, and everything. Now, what is expression? Expression is something which resolve to a value. It means that its final output will be one value. Okay, this is what we call expression. Now, there are two types of expression usually. One expression we call it as a assignment. That means you are assigning some value to something. In the last video when we learned variable, we did some kind of assignment, right? We spoke about the assignment operator where we are saying x equals to 2. So this is where you are assigning the number 2 to a variable x. So this is what is called, this thing together is called an expression. Okay, so expression is something which can resolve to a value. Here you are assigning this value 2 to x. So the x value will be what? It will be 2 finally. There is another type of expression which is called evaluating expression. What does it mean? Evaluating expression means, let's say you have a number 3 and then you have another number called 4. Once you add them up, you get a new number, right? You get a new number called 7. So this is called evaluating expression. This is called assignment expression. In the assignment expression, you are assigning a value to something. In an evaluating expression, you basically use the operand and the operators together to get another value as an outcome. So this also called expression. So these two type of expressions that we'll be dealing in programming, usually they will be used together. So it means that you will be seeing things like let x equals to 4 plus 5. So here you have created an expression where you are using the operand 4 and 5 using an operator called plus, and out of this operation you are getting a new value which will be 9, that gets assigned to x variable. So this entire thing is an expression, and inside this expression so many things are happening. So this is what the expression is. I hope this is clear. Operator, operands and expressions. Our session today is about the operators and expressions. So what are the different type of operators that we will come to know, so that using that we can build different kind of expressions. And as we will be building different kind of expressions using these operators, we will be stepping into building the logic as well. That's what we'll see. So what are the different kind of operators that we'll be dealing with in this video? First, we'll be talking about arithmetic operation. I think this is the easiest one. Then we'll be talking about something called assignment operator, which I have spoken a bit already with the equals, but there are few more things to it. Then we'll be talking about comparison operator. Then we'll be talking about relational operator. Then we'll come with logical operator, then bitwise operator, and then the conditional operator. So this many type of operators that we'll be talking. Along with that, there will be a concept of grouping. We have to know something called operator precedence, and that's why grouping come into picture, because this is one of the area even in simple basic mathematics people may make mistakes, and that might follow in our programming as well. So you want to clarify some of the doubts over there. And after that we'll end with two specialized operator. One is called typeof, another is called instanceof. So many things to learn in this video, but we'll be doing mostly hands-on. So I think that you won't be finding it that boring. Rather, if you code along with me, I think you'll be finding it exciting. This video might go little longer because so many things to cover. If you can't take it all at once, I would say take a logical break. We are anyway learning logical operator over here, right? All right. So let's get started with the first one, which is arithmetic operator. First, we'll start with arithmetic operators. Arithmetic operators are something which takes the numeric values. The numeric values will be as their operands. We learned what is operands. And then return a single numeric value after the operations. So what are the different kind of arithmetic operators available? We have something called addition, which is the plus sign, subtraction, which is the minus sign, multiplication, which is you have the asterisk sign, and the division is the slash sign, right? That's how it works. There are few more. Let us learn with examples. So for example, let us create two variable, let a, and with the assignment operator which we already have learned, let's assign a value 10 to it. And then we create another variable let b, and let's assign another value 20 to it. Now we are going to perform different kind of operations using the arithmetic operators. So for example, if we do console.log of a plus b, it means that we are trying to add these two number 10 and 20, and of course the result that we're expecting is 30. Similarly, if I do a minus b, what am I expecting? I'm subtracting 20 from 10. So the a number is a smaller number, b number is the bigger number. So of course the output is going to be minus 10. If I do the reverse, b minus a, then I'll be subtracting 10 from 20, then the output will be 10. Correct? Simple thing. Then similarly, if I do multiplication, I'm doing a into b, then the output will be 200 because 10 into 20 is 200. If I'm going to do console.log a divided by b, so I'm dividing 10 by 20, means 1 by 2. So it will be 0.5. Let's see this output, so far whatever we have done. So you see 30 minus 10, 10, 200, 0.5. All are coming correctly. So our arithmetic operators are working great. Now there are few more things to add to it. For example, if this a and b are not numbers, if they are string, and in that case, if you're using this plus operator, which is we are saying that addition operator, in case of string, it is going to concatenate it. It is not going to add it up. Okay. So if I create something called let f underscore name equals to tapas, and let n underscore name equals to Adhikary, and if I do console.log of if underscore name plus n underscore name, you can tell it as L instead of N. That's how the last name is going to be. So this is going to concatenate Tapas and Adhikary together. You're seeing over here, it is going to concatenate Tapas and Adhikary together. But you should be refrained or stay away from using this plus operator for a concatenation of string. In case you need this, we'll be doing it by using something called template literals that we will learn in a future videos. For now, whenever we talk about this particular operator along with number, this particular string thing, so I thought of teaching that as well. Now, along with this, there are few more arithmetic operators that you must know. One of the other arithmetic operator is called exponential operator or exponential operator. How do you write that? Console.log a, then you give 2 asterisk sign and then give b. You see the output right now of the last one. You see it over here. What happened to this? Why this output has come? Is because here we have done a is 10, b is 20, and as we have used the exponential operator, we have done 10 to the power 20. So in the mathematics, we have to the power, right? We have done 10 to the power 20, and that's how it become that particular big number. If this number is something very simple, very small, so for example, if this is 2 and if this is 3, so this will be 2 to the power 3, 2 into 2 into 2. So the resultant value is 8. So if you can go to console once more, you will see the value is 8. So you understand what is exponential operator? It is just 2 asterisks. That's how you should be using it. Now there is another operator which we call reminder operator, which is basically a percentage sign. Now the percentage sign we don't use for percentage as such. It is a reminder operator. How does it work? Let's take two different number to identify a reminder. Let's say 12 and here we take 5. Now if you divide 12 by 5, how will it happen? It will be 5 into 1 is 5, 5 into 2 is 10. Now 5 into 3 is goes to 15, which is greater than 12. So you don't go for that. You will stop with 5 into 2, 10, and then if you subtract 10 from this 12, what is the remainder? In that case, remainder is 2, right? So that's how we have the reminder operator. So in this case, if I try the reminder operator, console.log a percentage b, how much will be the value? 12 reminder 5, the value will be 2. So the value is 2. We got this. Now there are last two operator that are related to the arithmetic operations, which we call post increment and pre increment operator. So for example, let's take a count. Let count equals to, we'll say 5. Now if I do console.log of count plus plus, what do you think the output will be? Output will be 5 or output will be 6? What do you think? Let's see the output. I see the output is 5. The output is not 6. Now this count plus plus actually mean count equals to count plus 1. Now if it actually means count equals to count plus 1, shouldn't the count be 6? But why count is 5? Why? Because if you give this plus plus at the right side of your variable, here we have given the plus plus at the right side of our variable. In this case, we call this as post increment. Okay. In this case, what happened? It will return the value first and then it will increment it. So in this case, it will return the value first, means count's value is 5. First, it will return the value 5 and then it will increment the value 5 to 6. To prove that, if I just give a console.log just below this with the count, we are not incrementing anything right now. So it means the count was 5. Count plus plus means count post increment. Post increment means later increment. So first the count will be returned. So the count value will be 5. That's why this console.log has printed 5. Then count will be incremented. Now at this stage, in this line, console.log is already been executed with this count 5 because that is what was returned. Then it got incremented. Then count becomes 6. So next line, if you again do console.log, you will find 6. So let's see that on the browser. You see that? First it was 5 and then we get 6. Now if I write this plus plus before, then what will happen? So let's do that. Console.log of plus plus count. Now tell me what is the output over here. Here also we are doing count equals to count plus 1, just like before, same thing. But one major difference between count plus plus and plus plus count is here the post increment we told first return the value and then increases. In this case, it increases the value and then return. So now what will be the output at this line number 28? Like that people ask in interviews also question. So here it was 5. Here also it will be 5 because count got returned, not yet incremented. Then count got incremented, the count becomes 6. Here count will first increase and then return the value. So here it was 6. Now here it will be 7 and then it will return the value. So here console.log will be 7. So now we will have 5, 6, 7. As you see, 5, 6, 7. Now one last twist to it. If I just comment out this line, tell me what will be the output over here. This is count equals to 5. In this case, here output was 5. But in this case, the output will be 6 because first 5 will be incremented and then it will be returned. In this case, it was first returned and then it was incremented. I hope this is completely clear to you. You will never be confused with pre-increment, post-increment, this kind of thing. Now, there is a sister of this. Sister means instead of count plus plus, you can do count minus minus, and here you can do minus minus count. Same thing, in this case it will be count equals to count minus 1. In this case it will be count equals to count minus 1. But in this case what will happen? It will return the count first, then it will decrement. So in this line it will return the count first, means 5 will be printed. Then immediately 5 will be decremented by 1. So after that again if you print count means here it will be 4. And here first it will decrement and then it will return. So 4, another decrement will be 3. So here it will be 5, 4 and 3. Let's see the output. We have 5, 4, 3. So these are the arithmetic operators, guys. I think you have nailed it. You understood all the arithmetic operators really well. Now we will be going to our assignment operators, which we have seen already, a few equals and all, but let's see a few more. So assignment operators are pretty simple. We have seen some of them already, like let x equals to 10. We are assigning the value 10 to x. Now there are few shorthands that we can use. So for example, instead of doing x equals to x plus 5, here what we are doing, value of x is 10 and we are incrementing it by 5 and then assigning 10 plus 5, the result of it, that operation which is 15, to x again. Instead of doing this, we can pretty well do x plus equals to 5. This has the same effect of x equals to x plus 5, which is nothing but 15. Similarly, you can also do x minus equals to 3. It has same effect as x equals to x minus 3, which is nothing but 15 minus 3, that is 12. Why 15 minus 3? Because we are using late, isn't it? In the last video we have seen, with late we have declared the variable over here, assign the value 10. We can reassign the value to a variable that is declared with late, isn't it? So it means that at this time x will be 15, we have seen. So when we are evaluating this particular expression, which is like x minus equals to 3 means x equals to x minus 3, on this line 36, x is already 15 because before this line x was evaluated to 15. So that 15 will be used over here. So it is 15 minus 3 is 12. So this is pretty important. We are not actually creating another variable here from scratch, or neither. If we are using x minus equals to 3, we are not referring x as 10 because x value has been changed in line number 35. These are nitty-gritties you have to remember. Okay. So now tell me, question to you. X multiply equals to 2. What will be the value of it? What will be the x value? So it means that x equals to x into 2. X value was 12. So here the value will be 24. Correct? Now if I do x divided equals to 4. What will be the value for this? Quickly tell. So it means before I tell, you tell x equals to x divided by 4. So value will be 24 by 4, 6. So this is very useful as a shorthand. You can write this. But remember, the value that is being assigned also depending on what kind of specifier you have used over there. So be careful with all the operations, with all the operators usage. So that's all about the assignment operator. Next, we are going to learn about comparison operator. Comparison operators, as the name suggests, it is used for comparing the values. Comparing the values means if one value is equal to another value, if one value is not equal to another value, if one value is greater than to another value, if one value is less than to another value. So that kind of comparison that will come into picture. So what are the comparison operators exist and what are their use and when to use what is now we are going to learn. So the first operator we are interested in is called equal operator. So in JavaScript, there are two equal operators and two not equal operators. One is not so good to use, another is definitely good to use. So both the set equals and not equals are having the strict equals operator and loosely equals operator. So the loosely equals operator is written by this equal sign. Now the left side of the equal sign can be one operand or a value, let's say 4, and the right side of the equal can be another operand or another value, let's say 5. So in this case, what we are doing, we are comparing whether the 4 is equals to 5 or not. Of course 4 is not equals to 5, and the comparison operator will return to a boolean value saying whether true or false, whether it is true or false. So 4 is not definitely equals to 5, so this is going to return false for sure. So let's say console.log of this particular code, if we run, it is showing me false. That's exactly correct. Now if I go back and make this one as 0 and make this one as false. Now what will happen? This is 0, this is a number, but the false is a boolean. Is 0 equals to false? What do you think? Ideal cases, 0 should not be equals to false because 0 is a number, false is a boolean. But let's see the output. Man, in the output I see it as true. And that is where, the problem comes, saying that JavaScript is weird. And the weirdness actually continued for so long that now there is a fix for it. Now this weird thing happened because when we use this two equals, which is like loosely equals operator, loosely equality operator. So in this case, what it does basically, the left side operand and the right side operand, it automatically conversed or coerced to the nearest possible type. So for example, 0 is, of course, it is a number. But if you also think of 0 is something which is also a negative value. False, it's a boolean, but false is also something a negative value. So whenever we are using this, JavaScript try to be over smart and try to bring them into the similar level. Like both are negative value, this also negative value, this also negative value. At both are negative value, so they are kind of equal. So they will be converted to a similar type, and that is when the equality will happen. So that is the reason 0 equals false we are finding as true, because false is converted into 0, and that is where we are getting 0 equals 0, which is of course true. Now if you do another one, console dot log of 3 equals 3, what will be the output of it? Here 3 is a number and here 3 is a string. They on this earth, they are not the equal thing. We are checking whether they are equal using the loosely equality operator, which is 2 equals. So let's see the output. True again, and it is weird again, right? Now you see, right? If you are writing code using these 2 equals, you have a lot of chances that the resultant output of this can be used a completely wrong way. Maybe your API is giving a value which is like number 3, and from your input box you are collecting the value as string 3, because you are doing event.target.value, it always returns a string. Value as number returns a number 3, but you are using value and you're equating them and you are finding it to be true. But this is actually not true because they are not of same type at all. So this is where the strict equality come into picture. In case of strict equality, what will happen? We will be using, instead of 2 equals, now we'll be using 3 equals. This is the strict equality operator. So this will return true only if the operands, this left side and the right side operands, are equal and of the same type. In this case, if the type is not same, JavaScript is doing is implicit conversion to a type which is close to them and then equating. That's why 0 and false become true. This string 3 become true. But in this case, the first check itself is they are of the same type or not. If they are of not same type, then the further comparison for the equality is not happening itself. It will there itself will tell it is false. So there are few rules of this strict equality and strict not equality. Let me tell you those rules so that you can note down. So the first rule, if the operands are of different types, straight away false. In this case, 3 is number and this one is a string, straight away this will return false. Now if both the operands are null or both the operands are undefined, then it will return true. So it means console.log, I'll do null triple equals null, and then if I do undefined, and here if I do undefined, this will be true. This two will print true. We see over here, this last two, this is true. So this is the second rule. Now, if any of the operand is not a number, so in JavaScript, there is a special thing called NaN, which means not a number. Okay, if something is not qualified as a number by JavaScript engine, it is NaN. If any of the operand is NaN, it doesn't matter what is there in the other operand. It will always return as false. These are some of the rules. You can keep it in your mind so that whenever you see an expression, you can tell, this is strict equality operator. There is a NaN in either of the side. The result will be definitely false. Okay, there are two side nulls, null are there, it will be true. There are two side undefined are there, it will be true. Two types similar looking values but they're of different types is going to be false. Okay, so this is what you need to remember. Now one more thing in terms of strict equality operator, that is where again there some kind of confusion comes when you are equating two objects. So let's take this way. So let's take one object. Now we have not learned about object much, right? But we have got some introduction of object. There's a key value pair, that much we got, and where exactly it's stored, because in day 2 when you spoke about variable, we spoke about that. So with that limited knowledge, let us create two objects. One is let obj1. I don't like to name like this, but please tolerate me for now. And here is an object called name, and let's name it as tapaScript. And let's say another object which is obj2, and here name is tapaScript, same. Now if I do console.log obj1 equal obj2, what do you think the output will be, true or false? They are having exactly the same value, name equals to name colon tapaScript. So it will be true, right? No, it will be false. As you see over here, this is false. Why it is false? Let's understand. Because this is where, though we use strict equality operator, but developers may get confused. Because when you are comparing obj1 and obj2, you are not comparing these two values. Had you compared these two values, it would have become true. But what are you comparing? When we are actually declaring our object and assigning something to it, what happened in our heap memory, there will be memory location. In that memory location address, this value will be stored. Okay, and the address where the value will be stored, that reference will be there in obj1. So let's say the memory address is xx0011. In this xx0011 address, this particular value is stored for obj1. And then there is another memory address, let's say yy0022. In this memory address, this particular obj's value is stored. So these two memory addresses are completely different, even though the value stored there is same, doesn't matter. So when you are equating them, you are actually trying to say whether both obj1 and obj2 are pointing to the same memory address or not. In this case, it is clear that obj1 is pointing to this memory address, obj2 is pointing to this memory address. So if when I'm equating them, their memory address is not similar. They are not pointing to the same memory address, even though the value stored in their individual memory addresses are same. So that's the reason it will always return false. We will understand these references, memory address, how each of these things works when we get into the object session, and much greater way with garbage collection and everything when we talk about the memory management in our advanced session. All right, so far you understood these equality operators. Now for this guy, there is something called a not equals. How will you write this not equals? Very simple. This is the not equal, but again, don't use it. Whatever the shortcoming we found with this, exact shortcoming is there with this as well. So if you have to use not equals, you will be using something like not equals in a strict way. So there it is not and then two equals. Here you are saying that check whether left side operand and the right side operands are not equal or not. If they are not equal, it will return true. If they are equal, it will return false, because here we are checking for not equality. All right, you got the point. So before not equality checking, first it will check whether the left side operand and right side operand are of same type or not. If they are not same type, it will decide there itself. Then all other checks like null, undefined, whatever we have explained, exactly same thing remains same. So this is what with equality operator. We took some time to understand this equality operator, but it's worth giving this time to understand the equality operator. Along with it, there are few more operators, like we can say greater than, very simple. We can say 4 greater than 3. Of course, 4 greater than 3, so it will return true. We can say 2 greater than 1, it will return yes, true. If I say 1 greater than 7, it will return false, because 1 is not greater than 7. Then we have something called greater than equals to. So you can say 2 greater than equals to 4. So what we will check, the left side operand is whether equal to or greater than the right side operand. In this case, it is not, so it is false. If it is 2, then it will be 2 is not greater than 2, but at least it is equal to 2. So it will be true. So 2 is greater than equals to 2 means first it will check whether it is greater than or equal to. One of them satisfied means it will be true. So that is why it will be true. Similarly, we have the opposite one. We can say 4 less than 3. So it means that is 4 is lesser than 3? No, it is not. So false. Is 2 lesser than 7? Yes, it is lesser than. So it is true. Can we say 3 less than equals to 9? Yes, it is true, because 3 is not equals to 9, but 3 is definitely lesser than 9. So this is true. So again, like greater than equals to, the lesser than equals to also will check for two cases, either lesser than or equals to in either of the cases. Here, one thing that again people get confused about, if you look into this lesser than symbol, sometimes people feel now the reverse of it is the greater than symbol. So if I write the exact reverse of this, what it becomes something like this. But this is not greater than, okay? Greater than is greater and then equals to, not equals to and then this. This means a symbol for arrow function, which we will learn in the function session. So never get confused that less than's opposite is greater than, and it is like that. It's never like that. Greater than is always greater and then equals to. So this is about all other comparison operators that you have learned. I hope that you will remember it for a long time and you will start using it. All the comparison operators will return you a boolean, whether true or false, depending on the condition is satisfied or not. So your comparison operator always come with a condition. This is the condition that you are specifying through this expression, and the resultant value will be either true or false. And in this session, the main highlight is about the strict equality versus loosely equality, strict not equality versus loosely not equality. That you must have to practice and try to see by yourself. Also check out the task towards the end after this session so that you can practice and learn better. Okay, let's get to the next type of operators now. Next, we'll learn about the logical operators. So, what are logical operators? Logical operators are something that we typically used with the Boolean values. And when we use with the Boolean values, we get back the Boolean values only as a return. Okay. So, what are the different logical operators are there? One is this double and, then logical or, then we have something called two question mark sign, which we call nullish coalescing operator. And then we have something called a logical not, which we have seen already with not equals to, but there is another usage of it that we are going to see. Now let's learn them one by one. First is the logical and. What is logical and? Logical and usually happen between your expression, or we'll say operand 1 and operand 2, between these two. Okay. Now how it works, understand the rule. This is why the rules are very important, and as we don't if we don't understand these rules well, then we'll say JavaScript is weird really. So it will check from the left. First it will check if this first operand can be converted to false, then it will return this particular operand. It may sound weird, I'll tell you again. If this first operand can be converted to false, then it will return this first operand. Otherwise, it will return the second operand. Okay, let's see how it is. If I say false and false, what do you think the output will be? The first operand false can be converted to false because it is false itself. So the output will be false. So the first one, we know the output will be false. Let's put it inside console.log so that we can log them and see it. Console.log and this. So this is false. Similarly, if I do true and then false, what will be the output? I told if you can convert the first one to false, then you will return this. Otherwise, you return the second operand. So in this case, first operand is true. So you cannot definitely convert true to a false, right? So that means the second operand is what? False. So it will return false. Okay, great. Now let's do another one. Here I will do true. Here I will do true. So in this case, the first operand is what? First operand is true. It is something which you cannot convert to false. That means second operand will be returned. So it will be true. Now the fourth one, where I'll be doing false and then here true, correct? So in this case, the first operand is false. It can be converted to false because it is false itself. So it means if it is false, I won't look into the second one at all. I'll be returning the first one itself. So it is false. Now with this, you can actually find out another shortcut way of remembering this, that in AND, if any of the operand is false, whether this operand, this one or this one, in this case both are false, in this case one is false, in this case one is false. So if any of the operand is false, then the result will be always false. Only when both the operands are true, then the result will be only true. You can remember the logic this way. But the problem is, people are there on this earth to confuse you. What if I give you this console.log cow and horse? What will be the output? Tell me. Here cow is not a boolean. Horse is also not a boolean. It is not true or false. But this is a valid JavaScript expression. It's not going to give you any error. What will be the output? Here, the output will depend on the formula that I was telling you. The first expression, can it be converted to a false? It cannot be converted to a false, right? If it cannot be converted to a false, then the second operand will be returned. So that means the output is I closing horse. This is the reason I was actually explaining you that particular formula than a shortcut formula that if any of the side is false means it is false. Here nothing is false. Can you see the output of this? False, false, true, false and horse. False, false, true, false and horse. Okay, so whatever I explained, you could see the output. I hope you are learning something new out of this, right? So sometimes people confuse with this kind of thing, which you should not be using, but is JavaScript. Now in your actual programming, you won't be getting this false, false directly. So you will be getting things like 4 greater than 5 and 4 equals 6. What will be the output? So 4 greater than 5, is it true? It is not true. So this is false. 4 equals to 6, is it true? It is not true. So false. This one resulted in false. This one resulted is false. So ultimately you are falling into this table, false and false. So your output is false. So ideally, when you are writing logic, your logic building comes in this way. When you are writing logic, that time you will be dealing with different kind of expressions in both side of your logical operators. You have to see what these expressions are resulting into, and then you are having your formula. I have just now taught you. Based on that formula, you can figure out what is the final value will be. Again, look out to the task section. I have given you guys plenty of tasks so that you can actually practice all these things that you are learning, right? See, this is not a paid course. I'm saying you again, but this is no less than in terms of quality of a paid course. You should understand that. I'm putting a lot of effort in creating this. I hope you guys support me. Please subscribe, like, share this video so that share this playlist so that people can get to it and learn from this one. All right. Okay. So we are done with the and. Then similarly, we have something called or. This is what is with these two pipes. So what is the or's condition? Let's do with or now. So console dot log of or means our op1 or op2. What is the formula? If op1 can be converted to true in this case, then op1 will be returned. Otherwise, you will return op2. First one was if op1 converted to false, it will return the first one, it will return the second one. In this case, if op1 can be converted to true, then you return op1, else you return op2. So let's see. Let's do first false and false, our same table. Okay. So here, first one cannot be converted to a true. So that means second one will be returned. So here I will return false. Let's do true or false. So first one can be converted into true, right? Because it's a true itself. So it means that it will always return the true. Okay. Then let's do the third one, true or true. Of course, first one is true, so it can return true. So definitely it will return a true. And then the last one will do, which is like false and true. So the first one, it cannot really convert itself to true because it's a false one. So second one will return. So it will be true. I hope you are noting down these rules that I am telling and you will be practicing this. Now let's take this cow and horse again. Now you tell me what will be the output of cow or horse. Can cow be converted to true? Actually, yes. So in JavaScript, any positive value that if you take, for example, number 1, a particular string, which is not a negative value like 0 or an something empty string, if it is a positive value, that can be converted to true. That is actually JavaScript can convert it implicitly to true. So it means cow is not something which is like 0 or it is false or as an empty string, that kind of thing. It is not a negative value. It's a positive value. If it is a positive value, JavaScript can convert it to true. So that means this is true and then the second one. Our rule is if the first one can be converted into true, then the first one itself will be returned as the output. So in this case, the output will be cow. Now let's see if cow is the output. So we are expecting false, true, 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 cow. False, true, 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 cow. False, true, 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 cow. That is how we have done our or as well. Again, the similar fashion in the real programming, your this false will come from some expression, your this false will come from some expression, and again you'll be putting the logical operator in between to decide what is the end result of it. I hope this is quite clear. Then we are going to talk about this negate. It's pretty simple. So if you do console.log not of true, this is going to be false because you are negating. True means you're just making a toggle true to false. If you do false, it will be false to true. Okay, so it is just return false if the single operator can be converted into true, otherwise it's return true, something like that. So this is pretty easy. Now the last one is called nullish coalescing operator, which is written using this two question marks. What does it do? It is very handy operator in my opinion. Okay, so how it works, it will work in this way: op1 and then this two question mark and then op2. Here the rule is very simple. If the first one, the first operand, can be converted or result into a null or undefined. Okay, listen again. If the first expression is null or undefined, then return the second. Otherwise, return the first. So if first is not null or not undefined, return the first itself. If the first is either null or undefined, then return the second. Okay, so this is the rule. So when will you use this? You can use it in many cases. So for example, you are checking for a database connection, whether the database connection has been established or not. If the database connection is not established, it will return you either null or undefined. If the database connection is established, it will return you a connection object. So you can very well check that. So let's test this out with few examples. A1 equals to null is coalescing operator 1. What will be the output? The first one is a null. So that means output will be the second one. This is 1. Let's do one more. Let A2 equals to, this time we'll take undefined. Null is coalescing operator 3. What will be the output? The first one is undefined. Our rule is if the first one is null or undefined, return will be the second value 3. Great. You're doing great. Now const A3. Now will be tricky part. False. Null is coalescing tapaScript. What will be the value? Will be false or tapaScript? The first value is a boolean. It's a false. It's a negative value, but it is not a null. It is not an undefined. So in this case, the first value itself will be returned. The second value will be returned only when the second operand will be returned only if the first one is null or undefined. In this case, the first one is not null, not undefined. So it will return always a false. Okay. One more. Const A4 equals to 0 null is coalescing operator and let's say tapas. What will be the output? Tell me. The first one is null? No. First one is undefined? No. So then first one will be returned 0. Very simple. A null is coalescing operator. So I hope that you understood this, all these kind of logical operators. This is actually one of the most important and where people get confused also. I have broken into multiple pieces. I have given you guys all the algorithm to find out the output. Please note them down. I have shared a progress tracker with you. Please make use of that progress tracker. I want to see how you guys are taking notes on that progress tracker. I hope you have downloaded it. The link is there in the description of this video. It is there for free. In the first video, I have showed you like how to get it for free. If you are taking notes, please post it on our Discord, 40 Days of JavaScript. Let me see how you guys are taking notes. It will be amazing to see. So take all these notes, do this practice, look into the task. Okay. So let's move to the next operator set. After logical operator, there is another remarkable operator that we are going to learn is called conditional ternary operator. Conditional ternary operator. The syntax of it is a little bit different than all the operators we have seen so far. How it works basically, it works on a condition. So there will be something called a condition. We'll come to that. What is condition? If the condition satisfied, in that case, it will return a particular value. And if the condition doesn't satisfy, then it will return another value. Like this, we have to read. Now, this condition must return a Boolean value. Boolean value in the sense either true or false. If this condition returns a true, then this particular value will be returned. Otherwise, this particular value will be returned. Okay. So this is how it will work. Let's take one example. Let's say let age equals to 23. Now we can say age greater than equals to 60. In that case, we will return a string called senior citizen. Otherwise, we'll tell non-senior citizen. Okay. So here age value is 23. So that means 23 greater than equals to 60. Age will be replaced by the age value 23. So 23 greater than equals to 60. Sometime back we have learned greater than equals to at the top, right? Where we can actually determine whether the left side operand is either equal or greater than to the right side operand. So in this case, 23 is greater than equals to 60 or not. Of course, 23 is not greater than equals to 60. So that means these particular things won't be returned. Only this one will be returned, because if this condition satisfied, then this will be returned, otherwise this will be returned. So in this case, it will return a non-senior citizen. You understood? So this is one of the operator you will be using a lot. Please master it with your practice. Again, look into the task where you will get a lot of tasks to master this particular operator. Now let's talk about bitwise operators. What is bitwise operators? In case of bitwise operators, the operands are treated as 32 bits in zeros and ones. For example, if I write the number 10 in decimal, it is number 10. But this number 10 in a set of 32 bits representation of 0 and 1, which is like binary, how much it will be? It will be 2, right? So we have learned this in computer science. If you have learned computer science and engineering, you definitely have learned this. If you have not, don't worry about it. We will try to understand it as and when we pick up on the operators. So what are the different bitwise operators are there? Let's talk about them. Different bitwise operators are bitwise AND. Now there is a logical AND, right? The logical AND is this 2 ampersand, but bitwise AND is 1 ampersand. Logical OR is 2 ORs. Bitwise OR is single OR. Okay. Then there is something called bitwise XOR, which is this particular character. Then we have bitwise NOT, which is this tilde. After that, we have something called a left shift. We have something called a right shift. So all these operators are there for bitwise. Let's learn with example some of this bitwise operation. Sometime you might have to have a need to work with 0 1 binaries and the bitwise operators. So it is good to know like what exactly bitwise operator is. Now let's take one example, say 15, and we'll do a bitwise operator and 9. Now how 15 can be represented into 0 and 1 binary way? So 15 can be represented in 0 and 1 binary way is 1 1 1 1. So how 15's binary representation is 1 1 1 1? How will you find this? This is how you will find it. You do 15 divided by 2. You will have 7 and then remainder will be 1, right? This is the remainder. Now you take 7 and then divide by 2. You will find 3. 3 into 2 6, and then again you will find a remainder of 1. Then you take 3 again divided by 2. You will find 1 and then remainder is 1. Okay, so you have 1 1 1 1, these 4 ones. Similarly, if you do 9, how much you will find? 9 divided by 2, you will get 4 and then remainder will be 1. Okay, then you have 4 divided by 2, this will be 2 and then remainder will be 0. Then you will take 2 divided by 2, this will be 1 and remainder will be 0. So this will be 1 0 0 1. So this 9 will be 1 0 0 1. Okay, so this is how the representation will be. So from 15 decimal we got this particular binary, from 9 we got this particular binary. Now we have to do a binary AND between them. What will happen when you do an AND between them? So 1 and 1 will become 1. I'm doing from the right side. Okay, 1, this particular 1 and this particular 1 and become 1. Then this 0 and 1 always be a 0. Then this 0 and this particular 1 and will be another 0. And this particular 1 and this particular 1 will be 1. So the binary outcome of this bitwise AND is 1001. Now if you want to convert it back to decimal, how will you do this conversion to decimal? What is the value it's going to be? Okay, looking at this, we can tell that this 1001 is, this 1001 was 9, so it will be definitely 9. But if you have to convert back a binary representation to a decimal, how are you going to do that? It's very easy. This is 0th position, first position, second position, third position. So 0th position means 1 into 2 to the power exponential of 0. This is the 0th position, plus 0 into 2 to the power 1, plus again this one is also 0. So 0 into 2 to the power 2, plus finally this is 1 into 2 to the power, position is 3, 2 to the power 3. 2 to the power 0, anything to the power 0 is 1. So 1 into 1, this will come to 1, right? Anything you multiply with 0 is 0. So this is 0. This is 0. 2 to the power 3 is 8. 8 into 1 is 8. So this will result into 8. This will result into 0. This will result into 0. This will result into 1. So 1 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 is 9. That's how it will come. So this is the conversion. This is pure mathematics. When you do programming, when it comes to mathematics, you have to understand some basic of mathematics. So this is how your calculation will go on. I explained it like in depth, how you can convert from a decimal to binary representation to decimal. Just that you can now do it by yourself so that you understand like what is going on. Let's take another example. This 15 and 9 we have taken. No, let's take another example. 15 or 9. So what will be the output of this? How can you do that? 15 we know 1111 and then OR is 1001. So let's do this for you again. So I'll write it over here. Instead of AND, this will be OR. So in case of binary OR, what happened? When is 1 and 1 OR, I'm again doing it from the rightmost side, is 1. Then 0 and 1 is 1. Then 0 and this one is 1. And 1 and 1 is 1. This is how the OR works. So all ones means it is 15, because this is all 1 is already there, 15. So I'll write the answer 15. Again, if you want to try it out in this methodology, whether it is becoming 15 or not, please try. This is very easy. You will do what? 1 into 2 to the power 0 plus 1 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 2 plus 1 into 2 to the power 3. So that will be 15 if you add them up. That's how it is. Let's see one more operation, XOR operation. So if I do 15 and this symbol, XOR symbol, and 9, how much it is going to be? So let's do the representation one more. So 15 and XOR 9. How XOR works? And OR we know. How in case of XOR, how it will work? The rule of XOR is very simple. Like XOR will return true if only one of them is true. Okay. So means if I say true is equals to 1, false equals to 0, that means XOR will return 1 if only one of them is 1. Otherwise it will return always 0. So if I do go from the right side, here it is 1, here it is 1. Both are 1, so it will return a 0. Now here it is 0, here it is 1. So one of them is 1, so it will return 1. This is how XOR works. Now this is 0, this is 1, one of them is 1, so again it will return 1. This is 1, this is 1, both are 1. But our condition for returning a 1 is one of them should be 1. Not both of them should be 1, not both of them should be 0. So here again both of them are 1, so it will return a 0. So it means now it is 0, 1, 1, 0. Now 0, 1, 1, 0, if you convert into decimal, what will you do? 0 into 2 to the power 0 plus 1 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 2 plus 0 into 2 to the power 3. And that will come up to number 6. Okay. So this is how we will be doing. This is how bitwise operator works. So whenever you are dealing with bitwise operator, it is not just about knowing the operator, but also about understanding that how you convert from a decimal to binary, binary to decimal. And when you are doing the calculation happen purely in the binary form, and then you convert that back to decimal to get the actual answer. Now let us see one of the shift operators. Let's see the left shift operator. So left shift operator, let's take an example, 9, and we are doing a left shift by 2. It means first you have to transfer this decimal 9 to a binary. Decimal 9, if I do a binary, it will be 1001. Okay, if you do. So 1001, you are shifting by 2. Shifting by 2 means you shift left side 2 position. So think about it. This is your first position, second position, third position, fourth position. Or take it in a 0th position, first position, second position, third position, like that. Now, if you shift it twice left side, if you shift that, think this 10001 has got 2 position left side shift. As it got 2 position left side shift, 1001, 2 position left side shift, those 2 positions should be filled with 0. So your resultant value will be 1001000. Now if you want to convert this one to your decimal, what will be doing? 0 into 2 to the power 0 plus 0 into 2 to the power 1 plus 1 into 2 to the power 1. And just like that, you will adding them up, and finally this will result into the value of 36. Okay, because this calculation how to do, I have showed it already as an example. Same example you will follow and you will get your work done over here. Now for right shift, what you need to remember, if I do greater than 2, this is mean right shift. So in this case, again, my condition is 1001 and then right shift 2. What will be the value of it? In this case, 1001, when it's shifting to the right side means, just think about it. This 1001, it is going to shift 2 position at the right side. Now, what will happen? This position, 1's place, it will come to 0. 0's place, it will come to 0. And as it is shifting right side, this 0's place, I get 1. And this 1's place, I will get 0. Because I have just shifted everything to the right side. Now, as I have shifted everything to the right side over here, you're getting the point. I'm just shifting it the right side. So 0010 is nothing but the value will be. So with that, bitwise operator is done. There is another type of operator is called relational operator. One of the example of relational operator is the in keyword. There is an in keyword. Using what you check a property's existence in an object. That is when we learn object, that's the time I'm going to teach you about this particular operator. However, I don't encourage you to use it at all. I will tell the reason also why. So just take a note at this point of time. There is one more operator for relational operator. The in is the keyword we use. We are not learning now because we are not learning object now. When you learn object, we'll learn it, but we'll never use it. Okay. Now we are going to go to last 3 things. One is grouping. Then we will learn about typeof and the instance of. So now we learn about grouping. What is grouping? Grouping is an operator that we write using these 2 parentheses. It's a parenthesis basically. So it controls the precedence of evaluation or the execution in an expression. What does it mean? It just simply like this. Let p equals to 1. Let q equals to 2. Let r equals to 3. We have 3 variables. Now if I do, okay, console.log p plus q into what will be the output. So there are some default precedence of each of these operator when the operators are used together. In this case, additional operator as used with a multiplication operator. Both are arithmetic operator. So the precedence of a multiplication operator is much higher than a additional operator. In your academics, you would have learned the rule called BODMAS, BODMAS, and that also said the precedence rule. Similar to that particular rule, we know that this particular operator is having a higher precedence than this. So it means in this case, what will be the result? P is 1. So 1 plus 2 into 3. It will be 1 plus 2 into 3. So in this case, as it is having the higher precedence, so 2 into 3 first will be evaluated. So 2 into 3 will be 6. So it will be 1 plus 6. Finally, it will be 7. Fair enough. Now, same thing with the group operator, how you can write this P plus Q into R? You can do like P plus Q into R. Exactly same thing. So result will be definitely 7 in this case, because with the same precedence only by default it worked. But now you will see the fun. What if I do P plus Q into R? Now what will be the output? Will it be 7? No, because now the precedence is changed as we are using the grouping. In this case also grouping applied. Anything that you put in the group will have a higher precedence. So now in this case, the group had a higher precedence, but your multiplication also had a higher precedence. So there was no change. In this case, you have a multiplication, but you have a grouping also. So in this case, how the things will happen? Your P is 1 plus 2 and then multiplied by you have 3. This one will have a lower precedence than this group. So first this group will evaluate. So group will have 1 plus 2 is 3 and then 3 into 3 it will be the 9. So see, just changing the grouping, how things have changed. You got the point? So unlike any other operator, you won't find two different operands when you apply typeof. So what is typeof operator? The typeof operator is an operator which returns a string that indicates or specify the type of the operand. And in this case, operand will be only one. Let's take an example. So if I do typeof tapas, this is going to return me saying that this is a string. If I do typeof false, what is this going to return me? This is going to return that this is a boolean. Okay. So type of the operand is what is going to return me. If I take a variable, I'll create a variable, let's say size, and I say 100. Now if I do type of size, this is going to give me, tell me what is going to give me number. So if you're saying it is returning the type of the value that is assigned to this variable, but what it returns is a string that says what is like the actual type. Okay, if you create an object and then say type of that, it is going to tell that object, the type will be object. Okay, so something like that. Now there are a few interesting fact. Let's say I have one array, let's say numbers equals to 1 comma 2 comma 3 comma 4. Now if I say type of numbers, what is the output going to be? You can try it out. This is not going to say the type of numbers is an array. It won't say array. What it will say object. Because in JavaScript, an array is also an object. The array's type is also an object. We'll see when you go to the array, we'll see is prototype chain and we'll see like what exactly there. It will be an object. So ultimate type for an array in JavaScript is an object. So if you do type of an array, it will be an object itself. If you have a function, if you do type of a function, it will tell type of function. Okay. Now there are some special cases. One of the most infamous case in JavaScript is when you do type of null. We have clarified in day 2 video that what is null. Null means it's a value, but it's nothing, right? It's not undefined. It's null. But when you type of null, somehow JavaScript return an object. People say this is a mistake in JavaScript, and the mistake remains same because there are application which relies on this particular line which checks on type of null, and if it is an object then they probably do something. We don't want to break this, but we have to live with it. It's type of null is object. So that's all about type of. Great. Now, the last thing that we are going to get into is called instance of. Now, again, in instance of, I'm not going to get deeper into it because this is again related to object. And it makes sense that when I teach you how to create custom objects, how to create instance of your classes, that's the time you learn better about instance of, but at a high level what it does. Now, if you create in JavaScript, if you create a object from a specific object type, let's say you have car and you have created different kind of cars, BMW, Audi, Mahindra, different kind of cars. Now, if you want to check if this BMW is an instance of a car, it will return if a specific object is an instance of a particular object type. So if we say yes, BMW is instance of a car type, then it will return true. If you say fish instance of a car type, it won't be, because from car object type we won't create fish. We will create different kind of cars, right? So the syntax goes like this: if a particular object is instance of a particular object type, then it will return true, otherwise it will return false. I'll end it here because I don't want you to take too much load about instance of right now, because once we start creating our own objects, we are creating the prototypes, that point in time this instance of is going to make a lot of sense to you in the future sessions and the future videos. So this is all about all the operators that you should learn. Now let's talk about the task a bit. So to find the task, you can come to github.com/tapaScript. Please feel free to follow this organization because there are a lot of other projects you will find it will be of your use. It's not just about the 40 days of JavaScript. There are other projects as well. But come to 40 days of JavaScript and then you will find this repo. In this repo, there is already day 01, day 02, and I am adding day 03. Right now, I am making this video, so day 03 is not there yet. But once this video get published, you will be able to see this day 03 folder as well. And inside that, you will find this task.md file. So open up that task.md file. In this level, there will be day 03 and then task.md. You will find all the tasks listed over there. Each of the tasks will be related to the thing that we have learned in this video, in this session. But there will be few tasks which are a little bit of tricky. It might be the combination of multiple operators that we have learned. I want you to take all those questions. I want you to solve all those questions, all the answers, and then please post about it in onto our Discord. I'm going to show where exactly going to post. But before that, if you like the work, if you like the way this particular repository is there, and if it helps you, please give it a star, because that is going to be a very good motivation. Now let's move on to Discord. Coming to Discord, this 40 days of JavaScript you can see, right? Under that, there is a task assignments. Over here, please post your day 03 task. You can see how people are posting day 02 task. They're posting about their GitHub link, and I can go there. I can check. Anybody from the community can go, can check it out. And please post about your task completion. That is what I'm most interested in. I want to see like how you have taken this learning up. And if you have any queries, anything that you want to discuss, please post a comment in this video. Even if you don't have any queries, if you like this teaching, if you like this video, please post a comment. That will be great encouragement. Please like this, please share this with among your coding buddies and friends, and stay tuned for the next one. Next one, we are going to get little bit ahead with our logic building. We are going to learn about lot of conditional things using if, else, switch, case, all this kind of things. You are going to build now some real use cases and little bit more complex programming, little bit more complex use case solving in the next video. But everything will be built on top of every videos that we have learned so far. Session 3 built on session 2, session 4 will be built on session 3, session 2, like that. So please start from the beginning and progress along with me for 40 days. All the best to you. We'll be coming back soon.